What is humor, and how can you use it to improve working life? It is serious business. In this video, I'll talk a little bit about what humor is and how we can work with it. But we're going to start elsewhere. We're going to start with tragedy, life as tragic. What does tragic mean, and what does it mean to talk about life as tragic, the human condition as tragic? It sort of begins immediately. We're born helpless and totally in the hands of other people who are more or less able to create the conditions for secure attachment, beneficial development, and to foster our individuality. We grow and it hurts and we struggle. We want things that we don't get. We try to change and it doesn't happen. We find out that we were wrong about something important and we have to live with the consequences of our choices. We feel ashamed. Terrible things happen to us and the ones we love. We face the possibility of the meaninglessness of everything. Can we ever be truly understood? And then there's war and disease. The conditions are ghastly. As the psychologist Carl Jaspers put it, we all have to suffer, labor, be guilty, be subject to chance, and die. Lionel Abel, an American playwright who also translated Sartre to English, believes that one arrives at the tragic sense of life only after experiencing tragedy. He says, one does not acquire or develop the tragic sense, it is imposed, one is possessed by it. But tragedy informs humor. One theory about humor says that humor only occurs when something seems wrong, unsettling, or threatening, but simultaneously seems okay, acceptable, or safe. Think, for example, about Monty Python's Ministry of Silly Walks sketch. They develop silly walks from grants. Now, why is that funny? Why do we laugh at John Cleese when he walks down the street like that? It is, of course, very deeply unsettling to not quite know what our government's ministries are developing from grants. And John Cleese's character's self-importance cracks us up. And we say it cracks us up, and it does, like a seed cracks open, or the shell of an egg when the baby bird destroys the edges of their world in order to become who they're meant to become. That is what humor can do with our brains. Humor can let you see more, to give an ascended view. Humor can give a heightened understanding, an ascended understanding of yourself and the situation you're in. And humor can bring a point across. Think about Taika Waititi's movie, Jojo Rabbit, where a 10-year-old boy in Nazi Germany has Hitler as imaginary friend. Comedy is supposedly the most difficult art form. And that makes sense. It requires a lot. But when it works, it really works. It makes you feel warm and light, and you can't help but smile. It shows that you can live with something terrible, like the human condition. Now, how can we utilize these learnings to improve working life? Maybe you see something that feels stale or unsettling or threatening even, or just reluctant tasks or complaints management or a dear colleague retiring. Can you open something so that you feel warm and light and smile? Now for something completely different. I stumbled across an article about the worst colleague, according to everyone in a study. And it was a 47-year-old woman. I'm sure that there is something risible about that somewhere. I just don't know what it is right now. I am a 45-and-a-half-year-old woman. Humor can also be an antidote to self-deception. Remember, We all have to suffer, labor, be guilty, be subject to chance, and die. So perhaps we should adopt a quite serious attention to risibility, working with the risible. So the question is, what can crack you up at work today? What can allow you to create new synapses and move forward from wherever you see some kind of block to joy?